As if anime hasn't already introduced us to enough weird attractions we never thought we'd have, ranging from a dragon to a literal blood cell, now our waifus are just straight up dead girls. Cool. Yeah, so this is Zombieland Saga, a show that I ended up enjoying a lot more than I thought I would, I'll tell you that fucking much. The plot is actually pretty simple. A cute girl named Sakura has a happy, peaceful life, and then she gets hit by a truck and fucking dies! She wakes up in a weird place as a zombie and finds a bunch of other zombies all from different time periods and backgrounds, and they soon regain their consciousness. They discover that a dude named Kotaro brought them here because he wants to revitalize the city of Saga and thinks the best way to do so is with a bangin' idol group. And I guess for some reason it was too hard to get normal, like, not dead girls. The girls bond with each other over the course of the show to work and become the best musical act that they can. Okay, so let's just get the bad out of the way first, because in all honesty, there's not much of it to speak of. This show employs a technique that I'm really not a fan of, but still see in a lot of anime series. I like to call this phenomenon shitty garbage ass juice CG. Luckily it barely shows up since it's only the dance scenes that are animated in this way, but god damn it do I hate it. I've heard several people actually say this style looks good? And that really confuses me, because the character models are stiffer than an actual paralyzed person, and the frame rate during these scenes drops down to a cool -3. Yeah, I get it, it cuts down on cost and time to do that, rather than animated in the regular 2D way, but I still feel like it took a lot of the weight out of some of these scenes, and they would have had a much bigger impact on me had they just been animated normally. My only other problem, and this is a pretty tiny one, is that I wish Kotaro would have been fleshed out a little bit more and a little bit earlier. In the latter half of the series, you start to see that Kotaro is actually a genuinely good person who cares for these girls and knows when to be serious. But for the first several episodes, he kinda just feels like a semi-decent comic relief who's gonna show up from time to time, yell some funny words, then fuck off and have nothing to do with the actual story. They didn't keep him that way, which I was very glad about, but I think they could have explored his character a little bit more, especially considering a fact we found out about him later in the show that I won't spoil. Small gripe. Okay, now on to the good, and thankfully there's a lot more of that. First of all, even if Kotaro wasn't quite as developed as I would have liked, most of the girls got some pretty interesting things revealed about them. Obviously, all these girls are zombies, meaning they all had to die at some point, and when you do go into the reasons they died and climb to the tragic end we already know is going to happen, it leads to some of the more somber and serious moments of the show. One of the episodes in particular was extremely saddening for me, as it actually showed a loved one who was left behind after the character had died. It was a lot deeper emotionally than I expected the show to go, and I was pretty impressed with how they pulled it off. On the exact opposite end of that, this show had some of the funniest fucking moments I've watched all year. Its comedy is a lot more sarcastic and bitter in a lot of cases than I'm used to seeing in slice-of-life type shows, but never got to the point of being legitimately mean-spirited, so that was actually pretty refreshing. Some of the phrases that Kotaro utters out of his mouth had me literally laughing out loud, with both how absurd and unabashedly caustic they were. A lot of my favorite comedy came from him and interactions with him, but that's not to say the rest of the show's humor is any less well written. The pacing of these hilarious episodes occasionally containing these intermittent serious moments never felt too quickly or slowly paced, and luckily never felt disorienting to go from one to the other. A lot of things in this show just work really well, and I would say it's far from your typical run-of-the-mill idol series. Hopefully we get a second season soon enough, and until then, I'd absolutely recommend checking out this show, even if the idol genre is usually not your cup of tea. All the great elements came together to create a show that had not only laughs, but awesome characters and an extensive emotional depth, with a satisfyingly sentimental ending arc. Also, the fucking rap battle. Need I say more?